Hi guys, welcome to Who Am I to Review. Very rarely we come across movies that touches our soul and puts our conscience on question as to what we have made out of this human society. Here I am going to discuss one such movie titled Article 15. It is directed by Anubhav Sinha and stars Ayushmann Khurrana in the lead. This video is not about how good is Article 15 with regard to technical aspect, but is about the question this movie raises on each individual in the society. Coming to the plot, a young IPS officer's new posting in rural India has him confronting caste disparities and uncomfortable truths in the face of a gruesome crime. When three girls go missing in the fictional village of Lalgaon, two of them are found dead and there is no trace of the third one. Where is she and who is responsible for this heinous act forms the story. Well, talking about its relevance to the society, when Ayan Mukherjee, played by Ayushmann Khurrana, a city-bred IPS officer, is given charge of the Lalgaon police station in the heartland of India, he realizes soon enough that he will have to tackle far more than meets the eye. At one point early in the film, he exasperatedly tells his wife, Aditi, played by Isha Talwar, on the phone, "It's like the Wild Wild West." Having studied in Delhi's St. Stephen's and lived in Europe prior to this, Ayan is clearly at odds with the mindset that approached him right from the word go at Lalgaon. Even as he is grappling with the strong presence of caste discrimination and societal iniquities looming over, he stumbles upon the news of three girls employed in a local factory who have gone missing for the last 2 days. Anubhav Sinha's Article 15 is designed like a crime thriller, and what works for the film is that it's thought-provoking and hard-hitting, while unflinchingly bringing to light burning social issues. The film is heavy on atmospheres, with the top-notch cinematography by Yvonne Mulligan and background score adding to the mood. The feel is grim, gritty and grey, often bringing a chill to the bone, with palpable tension in the air. The images, some provocative and uncomfortable, stand out, like the ones where a man goes deep into a drain to unclog it and emerges soaked in the filth. Or the top shot of a group of policemen conducting a search in a swamp with their torchlights. The dialogues leave an impact, and the director brings out subtle nuances through his characters and setting which add to the essence of the narrative. The film's storyline, interspersed with powerful and poignant movements, leaves you with goosebumps. The narrative definitely keeps you on the edge. Article 15 is a searing film about the indignities endorsed by the caste system in modern-day India. Inspired by the real-life Badao killings and a stirring tribute to Alan Parker's 1988 procedural thriller Mississippi Burning, this film features policemen hushing up the murder and gang rape of three 15-year-old girls because they belong to a lowered caste. It is a grim, unrelenting and essential film, throwing up truths we choose to forget. "Welcome to page 7 India," says Ranjan's wife when he calls and texts her, his eyes wide with newly discovered outrage at the plight of the Dalits and the downtrodden in Middle India. Reports about these atrocities are relegated to the little red middle of the paper, far from the front and spot pages. Ayan, a young Brahmin who likes his single malt and walks around with a holster suavely sticking out from underneath a well-cut blazer, feels as much a stranger to that local as an Englishman. The policemen below him are keen to make sure he isn't some young fool out to change the system after watching too many renegade cop movies starring Ajay Devgan. "They get transferred while we get killed," grunts old cops in the group. As policemen walk through the marsh, Ranjan asks about politics and the men good-humoredly state why they vote for the elephant one year and the cycle the next, and for the parties their mothers told them to always vote for. Rebels use WhatsApp while cops keep tabs on activism by seeing what messages are being forwarded. The filmmakers cannily use texting to educate the leading man, the messages from his level-headed wife becoming the voice in his head. "We do not need a hero," she insists. "We just need people to stop waiting for a hero." An intelligently crafted scene in Article 15 serves as an education for Ayan, whose liberal background combined with caste privilege at birth, has allowed him the luxury, a luxury life does not grant Dalits, of growing up ignorant of caste. In that gently humoured passage, it becomes clear as Ayan quizzes his colleagues about their individual jati that he knows nothing about this country's exploitative congeniality, assigned social divisioning beyond what he has learnt in theory from textbooks. That Hindu society is divided into four varnas: Brahmins, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Shudras. Films about marginalized communities are often made to stress the benevolence of progressives from dominant social groups. A striking example is the blatant white savior complex of that appalling Hollywood film Green Book, winner of the 2019's Best Picture Oscar. Article 15 walks a tightrope to ensure that even as it uses Khurana's stardom to draw attention to its concern, but utilizes Ayan's quest for knowledge to enlighten the audience about caste. At first, I was conflicted about Khurana hanging around in the frame looking grim while a troupe of rappers belt out the anthem of protest. Shuru kare kya? As the number grew on me, though, I became aware that I was on edge, worrying that Sinha was about to ruin his beautiful film near the finishing stretch by letting Khurana break into a dance and perhaps even throw a glammed up Ayyub and Gupta in sexy clothes into the mix. Because, well, that's what happens in item songs. My tension ebbed away, though as I realized that this video is instead an inversion of that Bollywood cliche, and that Khurana's presence through the song was, at least for me, a reminder of Ayyub and Gupta's absence. That said, I remain conflicted about the need for Shuru Kare Kya at that point, coming as it did right after the deeply moving, uplifting climax. Article 15 is a courageous work, not the least reason being that it is filled with references to affairs from the Badaon hangings to the Innao floggings and beyond. There was a time when Mahant Ji was a generic title. Here, through the illusion cannot be lost on any individual who has not been living under the rock in recent years. Before persecution complexes kicks in, let this be said, Anubhav Sinha spares no one in Article 15. Not Hindutva, the politicians, not Dalits, Netas, who use the community to rise in politics and then treat them with disdain. Not the media who were up against the 2012 Delhi gang rape, but are rarely as stirred by the atrocities on women of the hinterland. Not cowards who wear a mask of neutrality as a means of self-preservation. Not members of marginalized societies' agenda once they themselves are in position of power, not even Gandhi. निषाद स्टेटमेंट्स, हम कभी हरिजन बन जाते हैं, कभी बहुजन हो जाते हैं, बस जन नहीं बन पा रहे हैं कि जनगण मन में हमारी गिनती हो सके. This could well be seen as the film's way of noting that while Mahatma, who popularized the term Harijan, meaning children of God, actively campaigned against untouchability, his interpretation of caste was flawed. However, the incorporation of the few bars from one of the Gandhi's favorite hymns, Vaishnava Janto, in Shuru Kare Kya, tells us that even if Article 15 is calling the great man out on his failings, it is not outrightly blushing him aside and continues to pay tribute to his overall vision. The casting of the southern Indian acting stalwart Nassar as a government official taunting Ayan for his poor Hindi is a masterstroke. He is not a Hindi Bhashi himself and struggles with the language, but backs those who seek to aggressively impose it on India as a whole and have turned it into yet another tool for divisiveness since independence. What do you do when the system is the bad guy? There are no revelations here. We have read about such cases, we have sighed about these horrors. Article 15 is not a film in search of easy answers. It is instead a reminder that we already know the questions, but don't ask them enough. That's the end of the video, guys. Please do subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon. Thank you.